Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Welcome back and please welcome my friend Irene. How are you doing, Irene?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to
Good.
have you here and thank you for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Uh, I know you for a long time, so I will act like I don't know you now
Okay.
and keep asking the stuff like, oh, I don't know that. So let me know how long you've been living here in Florida or Jacksonville and what you're doing for work.
I've been in Jacksonville just over a year now, and I am a nurse practitioner, and I work
Okay.
with primary medicine. But I volunteer with some mental health agencies too.
Okay, how's that going?
It's going well. I think it's mental health is a resource that's very sought after, or needed anyhow. It's not that sought after, which is probably the reason that these resources are so scarce. But it's busy. You feel good when you meet people in the mental health world that are trying to just better themselves, and you're able to like give them a resource that they otherwise would not be able to reach.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always talking here about the mental health and how important to the people to find out if they are sick or not, how to find out, and it's very important. Not too many people know that, or they ignore it. Maybe they know, but they ignore it. So, do you deal with too many cases about the mental health, or you are just volunteering, or what?
I'm really just volunteering. I think that with mental health, you're right. A lot of people don't recognize that they have a mental health issue, or there's such stigma to mental health. So even if they may recognize certain symptoms, it's hard for them to come out and ask for help. They don't know where to go for help, especially culturally. I think Hispanics, for instance, have a hard time accepting that they may be suffering from depression or anxiety. And it's just, there's a stigma to it, right? Like we've done so much, we've progressed so much in the mental health world where it's like if you have bipolar disease, or if you have substance abuse issues, or if you suffer from depression, like there is help out there. And it's okay, it's normal to sometimes feel sad, or to go further than that and to even think about suicide, right? In the hospital now, we used to avoid these conversations, and now it's a very direct question, like, do you have plans to kill yourself, right? You have to
Oh,
be
okay.
direct with the patients, because a lot of people think, oh, they're just looking for attention, like they're never going to do that, right? So we always minimize those emotions, and asking flat out if someone has plans to kill themselves, it's concerns, right? You have to create consciousness and know that if somebody is saying that they may want to kill themselves, or they have a plan even, it's real.
Some people say yes.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay. And what you should do when someone say yes?
Well, if you're in a hospital setting, usually they that's the other part, right? Once you would start to admit that you are having these thoughts about suicide, or you are having thoughts of self-harm, you essentially become not a prisoner, but you get Baker Act, and so you lose your rights.
Oh, okay.
You can't check yourself out of the hospital. The hospital will say, that you're not mentally stable to get out. But it's for fear that you're gonna go out and do something and act upon those thoughts. And a lot of people, once they start to talk about it, they realize that honestly, everyone has mental health issues. Everyone suffers from depression on some level. Sometimes it's situational, sometimes it's chronic, sometimes it's acute. But whatever it is, there is help out there.
I know that, but I feel not too many people how to find out if they are sick or not. Like some people feeling just sad or sick or tired or something, but they doesn't know if it's an anxiety or depression, or how you think someone should know if they are sick or not, or they have a mental ill.
You're correct in saying that people don't know. It's hard to differentiate like chronic or acute feelings. I think situational, we just live in a world financially, there's stress. Aesthetically, we live in a world of social media where Instagram is constantly putting people, or women and men, down, right? I think a lot of the symptoms, especially for depression, have to do with, they're kind of correlated. So like anxiety and depression are usually always seen together. You never really have one without the other. Sometimes sleeping in too much, or sleeping not at all, also the complete opposite. Eating too much, eating too little, just like loss of interest in doing things, loss of pleasure in things that you used to enjoy, shutting down, not having interest in communicating with other people. And a lot of these things, like I said, can be situational, but for the most part, when they start to become chronic, it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I think people should think about it. But I feel also most of the sentence, people who has introvert can feel it also, because they doesn't want to interact with people a lot. They don't want to be around too many people a lot. So they have to find out if you are really sick or just you are introvert and need to go out. Yeah. But depression is a big deal, and I believe all of us fall in it for one time at least, or at least you cross by. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's a good thing. People should think about it and maybe find out if you are or not. Do you have any advice for someone feeling something about it? Like,
I think that if you're continuously feeling down or sad or just feel like hopelessness, like anything that you do may not have a good outcome, or you feel that whatever you strive, all your efforts are not really, becoming fruitful, or they're not being actualized. I think it's important to talk to someone, find a resource that you can communicate those feelings to.
Okay.
Because once you start to feel that hopelessness, right? There's a difference between waking up and being like, I just feel sad today. It's a gloomy day out. I don't have the energy. I'm not in the mood to go out and interact with other people. But when that is more often than not, right, out of the week, you're feeling that way several days or most of the days, it's important
it's something to check
reach out
now.
To someone. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that, and really it's important. Do you ever felt the same ways before, or same stuff?
Yes, I personally have a history of anxiety and depression. Like I said, I think they go hand in hand. I think that I manifested more towards anxiety. I'm a really outgoing person, and sometimes I can be kind of introverted, like you said, just because I need my own space and some time to kind of regroup my feelings. But the anxiety, for instance, can definitely cause me to have a lot of self-sabotage.
Okay. And why is that happening exactly?
I can't give you a specific reason. That's the other token of like recognizing whether or not you are depressed or not, because there are no real reasons for someone to feel that way, right? It's a chemical imbalance. So you could have a great job, be in a successful career, be in a good relationship, have good family support, and you still feel this sadness and this anxiety and this like incapacitating ability to just go out and do daily activities, right? Like you wake up in the day and you don't see a reason to take a shower.
Okay. And how you get out of this?
I personally, I don't necessarily take medications for it. I think that medication absolutely helps. I think it's a huge resource for individuals who experience this chronically. I personally have other avenues. I like to run. I use my Peloton.
I know that.
Yeah, so I do a lot of cardio because it's an endorphin releaser, right? You have to find ways to release the endorphins and that feel-good hormone in our bodies and mind. Just grounding, right? Going outside, spending 15 minutes a day in the sunlight, it really helps.
It helps you.
It helps me.
Do you think like if someone having the same feeling, depression or anxiety or whatever, and they doesn't need to take medicine, it can work to get out of this zone or these feelings by doing something you love, being around people you love? It might work, or you really need to get some medicine?
No, like I said, I think it helps. I think there are different levels of depression and there are different levels of anxiety. If you feel that you're not able to complete goals that you set for yourself because you start to get into periods of depression and you can't get yourself up to get to work, and people lose jobs, they don't graduate, they don't finish their goals when they truly are clinically depressed because they're not physically able to finish any of those goals that they set for themselves, right? So I think that when you're in that position, absolutely, medication is the way to go. There's really no stigma, right? It's just like if you have high blood pressure and you're at risk for strokes, you're not going to not take your blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
Right? Everyone's going to tell you, oh, no, my God, take this pill. This is, it's going to lower your blood pressure. So it's the same way with mental health.
Okay.
If it's severe enough, then absolutely take the pill. Take the medicine. It will help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people have to be consistent with it. It's not the kind of medication that you wake up one day and you say, oh, I'm going to take it today and I'm going to feel good for the next 24 hours, right? You have to let it build up in your system and you have to find something that works.
I feel also too many people doesn't like to go to a therapist or psychiatrist or whatever to talk about, to open up and talking about it. It's not that easy for too many people,
No, especially culturally, right?
Yeah.
So statistically, the research shows that Hispanics and African Americans, right? So blacks and Hispanic people are actually 1.5 to 2 times more likely to suffer from mental illness, like depression and anxiety, and even suicide rates, right? Most of them have definitely increased with teen years. So now you're starting to see suicide even in younger ages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And ironically, African American men are pretty low on the suicide risk scale, but African American teenage boys are one of the highest rates for suicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Especially young boys. But I believe it's being a young or teenager in this country, sometimes it's very hard to grow up with the bullying or whatever you're seeing the people around you. It's not that easy, and too many getting a very hard time growing up here.
Yeah, it can be isolating. Absolutely. There's this culture that you have to fit into everything. You have to know everything. And where do you get that information if you don't have friends, if you're isolating yourself, if you feel like you don't speak the language enough or you can't communicate with people? It's difficult.
Do you grow up here or?
I lived in South America for the first 5 or 6 years of my life, but I moved to New York City when I was 6 years old, and I lived there until I was about 28. So
how's growing up in New York?
Fun. New York City's fun. You get a lot of independence, a lot of freedom, because you don't need someone to drive you around like you do in cities like Florida or other states. New York City's fun, you meet people of all walks of life, which I think can help you grow culturally. So it's like this saying they say, inclusion is expansion, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like the more that you include in your life, the more that you're growing.
So you think people are growing faster in New York or city, have too much going around more than quieter or?
Oh, absolutely.
Countries.
I mean, outside cities are very sheltered.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you are growing up in New York, you grow up faster than here.
Absolutely.
Okay. I can see that. Actually, I can see that, and I know why being independent so quickly, not really counting on someone to do too much things for you. So that might help. But would you prefer growing up New York or here?
It's funny because I would not have enjoyed growing up anywhere outside of New York City.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. I don't think that my personality would have thrived the way that it did in New York. However, I don't have any kids, but if I did start a family, I don't think that I would want them to grow up in New York.
Oh, why?
I just think kids are too exposed so early on. I think that it's also our responsibility to shelter our kids to a certain level.
Okay.
And I think just exposing them in New York City is just not the place that I would want my kids
but
to
that will make them grow up faster, as you said.
Yeah.
Might help them.
It could. That's what I mean. I guess it just depends on the personality. Every child is different.
That's true.
Yeah.
To be honest, for me, I would, even if I grow up in a city or growing up faster because I was somewhere else, I would love my kids also, as you said, to be growing up away from any big city, I want to give them enough time to grow up. Don't need to grow up faster. Grow up, take your time.
Enjoy your childhood.
Yes, enjoy it to the most. Grow up, get your good study.
Yeah.
And when you are ready to face the world, go face it, Yeah,
well, that's part of growing up so quickly too. I feel that a lot of kids in New York City, they don't put enough priorities when it comes to education, because they want to grow up so fast, right? They want to be able to afford a car, and they want to move out of their parents' home, and you don't get that so much outside of New York City. Easy, yeah. It's very, very common for a 17-year-old boy to still live at home with their parents, and have their parents drive them around, or maybe have a car, and so they're able to focus more on education and bettering themselves. In New York City, it's not really that way. At 14, 15, they're getting jobs in restaurants, making more money than a lot of college graduates.
And I feel anyone growing up, once they start making money, they always will pick up the money over the education.
Yeah.
Very few will pick up the education over the money.
And it's not to say that education is the only way to be successful, right? There are a lot of entrepreneurs that just don't have a college degree. And I think college it's gotten too expensive anyhow.
Yeah, but look at the percentage of the entrepreneur, how many of them made it, okay? They are very few percentage comparing to the people who really study and got a really good job. So until you find your way to be a good businessman or a good businesswoman and make your own business and be a billionaire, that's fine. But until you find it, keep studying.
No, absolutely. I think definitely have a foundation, right? But I also don't think that it's the be all, right? Education is important, and especially these days where if you don't have at least a master's, right, no one's looking your way.
Yeah. It's not that easy, especially everyone is competing with you now. You have to find a good way until you find the best way for you, But I think we all have to go this way. That's why I like to give. Someone was asking me, what do you like to keep, to leave stuff for your kids? I said, well, I will not leave anything for them until I will give them a good life. I will give them a good education, and I let them get ready to face the world. This is all I can give them. I'm not looking to give them money. I'm not looking to give them houses. This is not my job. I am looking to give them the very good growing up.
Sure.
And give them a very good education so they can be their own person who can do whatever they want in their life. So that's what I like, and I feel most of the people should think this way. But
yeah, you want to establish avenues for your child to be successful. You want to set them up, put down foundations where they understand the value of money, and they understand that having good morale is going to get you a lot further than cheating on, just tricking people into being something that they're not. I think that's kind of the issue too. A lot of successful people are in sales. I personally would not be a good salesperson.
I can't. I tried it. I can't. Even too many people said you can, but I said no, I can't.
No.
It's not my personality.
You tell me no once, and I'm walking away.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
No problem.
Yeah. I'll not keep trying.
Yeah.
You're lost. But
exactly.
Okay, can you describe your childhood in 3 words?
My childhood in 3 words. I've never been asked that.
Think about it.
I guess I had a fun childhood. I was very adventurous. Just family oriented and very independent as well. So
I like that.
I don't know.
Are you always been around the family? Despite your mom here, so don't look at her.
We grew up pretty close. It was really just me, my mother, my father, and my brother.
Okay.
Part of the reason I even moved to Jacksonville is because my brother moved here 3 years ago, and he had his first daughter, and I was I was getting divorced, and so I decided that I wanted to be closer to family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel you are very close to the family, but it's not big deal here. I don't feel the people here are very close to their families, as should be, I guess. But I like that about you. And can you describe, if you can divide your life in parts, how many parts it would be?
Oh my goodness. I think I've had 17 lives.
Tell me them all.
I've moved around a lot.
Okay.
So
Do you think every moving was a new life for you, or you can divide all of this as a one part?
No, I think every place that I went to was different. Every city I lived in was a different chapter of my life. I met different kinds of people. I was in a different place in my life. I think that, we don't stop growing and learning, and lived in New York City for a long time. Then I lived in Ohio for a while. Then I lived in Maryland. And then I was a travel nurse.
Okay.
And then I finally came here about a year and a half. Yeah, it's almost a year and a half now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's almost like 5 chapters? Almost?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, which one is your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter. Hard to say. I think this is my favorite chapter.
Jacksonville?
Not so much just Jacksonville, but like
Okay.
where I am in my life, you know, like
Now.
I've been striving to finish my nurse practitioner license for a few years while I was in school. While I worked full time as a nurse. So now I'm finally kind of like I'm watching my life become more fruitful.
Okay.
So I think that part of my life has been very reassuring to see all my hard work kind of just come
I think
together.
because you grow up and you've been making the good stuff for you until you became the person who you are now, who you want to be now, I guess.
Right.
So sometimes it's a good time. Actually, I was always saying the same. This time is kind of better, my best time also. Because also we growing up.
And you know the most right now in your life, right?
Yes.
You didn't, like, even if we were to go back 5 years, we didn't have the knowledge and the wisdom that we had 5 years ago. So even if that could have been the best time of your life, you weren't going to do as much with whatever was, happening at
too
that
many
time.
people saying I want to go back to be like teenager or 20, my first
Yeah.
20s. I said no,
No,
I don't
thank
want to be.
you.
I don't want to be this person anymore. I
Yeah.
wasn't growing up this time. I found out when I was 29 or almost 30. It's my mind opened up somehow and became realizing what I really want in my life.
Yeah.
So this is the time I want to be. I don't want to go back in time to be naive again or ungrowing up again.
Yeah, no, it's hard to be dumb.
Yes.
You don't know what you're doing with yourself, and also it's just like trying to find yourself, trying to see who you are as a person, what your boundaries are.
And
Yeah,
this
it's
is you pick it
difficult.
up by experiences you're having in your life
Correct, yeah.
until you reach to
How
the
do you know
person
you
are.
don't like something until you've been there?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good to say. This is the best part. Too many people saying the childhood maybe,
Yeah.
but for me now is the best part
No.
also.
Now that I know what I want and I'm still striving to get there, it's
What you want?
Well, I just mean in the sense of like my career, in the sense of even what I'm looking for in a partner, in the sense of the time that I want. I know how I wake up now and I know that I don't want to spend my day. I think I mentioned to you that I didn't drink for 3 months. So I don't want to waste my time. I wake up now and I feel so grateful just for everything that I have and all the opportunities that my parents have paved for me. It would be silly for me not to take advantage of that. And sometimes I think gratitude is the best way to be successful, right? Because we forget sometimes that what we have, not a lot of people can have. And everyone has that part in their life, right? Because I might be financially successful, or somebody might be romantically successful, or career-wise, or just wake up. In South America, nobody wakes up with depression is what they say, right? But that's not true. Like, people wake up, they just deal with things differently.
Yeah.
When they're not exposed to something, you don't know that you want it or that you miss it, which is the problem with social media, right? It exposes you to everything that you need or want or have never seen, and so it makes people think back on their own lives.
Yeah. I always think social media destroyed everything for us. Even it has too many pros, but the cons is more.
Yeah. I always remember something you told me many months ago where you said you think social media or dating apps have made dating cheap.
Yes, it did it. Yeah. I'm always saying
think
that.
of that.
You still remember this? Yes,
Yeah.
it's my quote. Because I really hate the dating apps, and I believe it make it way cheap and doesn't make sense anymore, Yeah, some people will mate, of course, but
Yeah.
make it very
It
cheap.
makes it think that everything is accessible and like the grass is always greener, and it's not. You have to water your grass.
Yeah, and have a fake attention, have a fake personality. You always feeling, oh, I'm on demand, or like people want me. Go down to the ground and see actually what you want and what you do and who is good for you and who is not. So you need really to think wisely about all of this stuff. Dating app doesn't give this,
Yeah.
It's a fake life.
Yeah. It's such a fast-paced life that we live.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have time to do exactly that. Just kind of wake up and take the day in and say, is that person worth my time? Am I going to channel this energy worried about what I think other people want me to be, or what other people want me to have, or who other people want me to be. You really have to sit down and think, do those things align with my personal values and with my beliefs and my wants and needs?
That's true.
Yeah, we get so caught up in the world that we don't think about what makes us happy. We're trying to make everybody else happy. I don't understand that.
This is the life we are living now. But are you happy now?
I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What make Irene happy?
What makes me happy? My Peloton.
Besides Peloton, I know you love it.
Family.
Okay.
Being around family really makes me happy.
Okay.
My mom lives in South America, so when she's here, I just feel like this light peace. It's nice to have my mom here with me, and it just feels good to know that no matter what, there's that person that will always have your back and will always support you. Yeah,
that's nice. What you like to do when you are not in the mood and you want to make yourself feel happy? What would you do? Besides doing the Peloton.
Besides my Peloton.
Yes.
It's a hate or love. I don't wake up every day. It's discipline over motivation for the Peloton. But music helps me a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I love music. Even sometimes I listen to sad songs and people are like, how do you run to that? How do you get energy from that? But just music,
just a good
melodies.
Song.
Yeah.
It's a good song anyways. Huh?
I like, exactly. Just gratitude, right? Like you feel gratitude towards just being able to understand and take things in more deeply.
Okay. I like that. Would you give yourself an advice if you back in time, like let's say 10 years or 20 years back? What kind of advice you would love to give it to yourself? Or back is a year, which year you would love to go back in time to your younger self and say, do that or don't do that?
I would say maybe when I got my first nursing job. So
okay.
So I always say now, right? Because I used to be a really shy person because I suffered from like anxiety and depression, and that always made me kind of. I know you would never think that I'm shy now.
Never.
But yeah, no, I am.
Okay.
It's not a facade, but I do have to try hard to be social in environments where I don't know everyone.
At this time?
Yeah, even today in this day. Even today in this day.
Ah, okay. Because never felt you are this person, but
I know.
okay.
Yeah. But that's what I've grown to be, and how it's like practice who you want to be, right?
Yes.
So that's what I do. I practice being social. I practice not showing the anxiety, not letting anyone else feel that. And not because I'm hiding it, but because I want to practice who I want to be. I don't want to be that shy person.
Yes.
Today's a day where someone says like, "Oh, Irene," they're like, "Oh, she'll bring her own chair, to the table she's not invited to." Like, there's always a seat at the table for me because I make it.
Yeah.
I think that's
you became the person who you are now.
Yeah, that's the advice that I would give myself even back then. Right?
Earlier.
Yeah, because I think that I learned that late in life. If somebody didn't invite me or a job opportunity was open and I wasn't the first candidate, I would never, kind of like the salesperson, right? I would never push those boundaries. I would just back away. But if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to get it.
Do you think that would change your life a little bit in the beginning, like earlier?
Potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. And what kind of question would you ask yourself if you can go to the future and ask yourself about it? Let's say 10, 15
years. Did you
years?
stick to your values, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I want to know if when I reach whatever, life brings different avenues. My life changes every 2 to 3 years, I'm moving in a different city. But at the end of it, I just want to make sure that wherever I am in life, that I didn't not respect my values. Right.
Okay. Do you feel you might change your values or something can affect your values?
Absolutely. I think that they always grow. People always ask, what is your love language? I think that always changes too. That shifts. It shifts depending on the person that you're with at that time. It shifts in the point that you are in your life, what you're prioritizing. I think it's the same. It correlates with that question of, will your values change? Absolutely, because if I've achieved a certain goal, then I'm setting different goals for myself going forward. And although there are core values, of course, you still have to think about, are you willing to maybe change those ideas in order to achieve what you want?
Okay.
So yeah, they do change.
I believe that. That's good. Okay, usually we play a game in the end of every episode.
Okay.
And this one, it's not a game, it's just a question game. So I'm asking you this or that, and you pick one.
Okay.
And let's start.
Sure.
Satisfaction or perfection?
Satisfaction.
Okay. I can see you saying that. And mountain or beach?
Also hard. I think I am a mountain person.
In Florida.
Yeah.
This is my always comment, I have to say.
Yeah. But I spend so much time like out in Ohio and Maryland, just New York too. Like Florida is very flat. There are no terrains here. Maybe that's why I'm choosing mountains, because I miss that. I miss the hikes. I miss that.
Yeah, we're always saying the same. Like most of the people
the
sit
beach
here.
Is so accessible, right?
It's here now. Yeah,
exactly.
Anytime you want, just 10 minutes driving and you'll be there. I feel everyone sit here said exactly same as the mountain because it doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay, night in or night out?
Night out.
Night out. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Are you breakfast or brunch? I think I know this answer.
Neither. I don't like breakfast food.
Really?
Yeah, and
Or
brunch is like a mix, and it's like.
You don't like it?
No.
With little mimosa?
I'll have a mimosa, but I don't want the
It's a
eggs.
brunch.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that. And let's say, being a daughter or being a mom, which one would you pick?
That's hard, because I think as a daughter and as a mom, right, you want to take care of someone at the end of the day. Because now I'm a daughter that, although my mom doesn't need anything from me, I want to always be the person that she goes to if she needs help. And I think that that's part of the reason that most women want to become a mom, right? Because they want to give that to someone.
Do you want to become a mom?
Yeah, I would love to be a mom. Sure.
Okay. And you didn't answer, but okay.
I know. That's a hard question. I'm not a mom, so I don't know, right? I am a
I'll
daughter.
make exception. I say if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, I will make one exception for you.
Okay.
Do you want to do a camping night, or like living outside, or a luxury hotel?
Camping.
You like the camping?
And not like the glamping that everyone does now.
You really want a real
I want to
camping?
start fire with wood sticks.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to run up and down. Like,
You don't want the
river.
luxury camping, or no? You want...
If I'm camping, I want the real camping.
Okay. I don't know. I went to I did camping few times. I love it, but there is a few things I can't.
Like the bugs?
The bugs, the bathroom. The bathroom is more important because I had it before. It was annoying.
Yeah.
And I think these two most of the time. And I'm really prepared when I go for camping. Like I have a generator. I have too much stuff to do. So I feel like it's what you said. It's not really a real camping.
Yeah.
So I feel
you're bringing a generator. That's glamping.
Yes, I know. But as I said, I'm not really enjoying living in the desert or like doing the full camping experience. Okay, that's. I think I know the answer, but big city or quiet town?
Big city.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And I really enjoyed having you here with us.
Aww.
I hope you like it.
Yes, this was fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for watching us. And if you like it, please like the episode, share, and subscribe. And see you next time.
Bye.